Hey, let's bring on Lance Lynn, White Sox pitcher right now, to join us. And we were just talking to Derek Gould. And Lance, I heard, were you shaking your head about Derek Gould, about Hell's Bells? What do you got?
No, I agree with AJ. Those two songs with those two closers are pretty locked in. So if you got to retire a song with a jersey in Hall of Fame, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, see, he's a smart man. See, he
It's
learned.
a good poll.
I taught him a long time ago. We played together. He was under my wing. I taught him.
Oh, Uncle, leave him alone. Let him have his career one time.
That was 10 years ago. I was the rusty nail. There you go. That's Lance.
There you go.
I'd come into tetanus now because of you.
I'd come into the pitchers meetings and they'd be like, "You have to leave now," because I would say some comment that wasn't appropriate.
Yeah, he just put down one. He just put down one so he could throw everybody out at second if they tried to steal.
You were on the Pudge Rodriguez?
No, I didn't care. I could throw anyways. I didn't care. I was located. I couldn't throw.
Hey, you can tell how good of a thrower AJ was by how good he hit.
That's right. Exactly right.
There you go.
Before we get into the good stuff, what happened on the first pitch?
Clank, clank.
Clank, clank. It was like when I threw to you back in the day.
That's what he said, right? When he gave me a hug, he goes, "I was like watching you catch me." He just reversed roles with me. You know what happened? I threw it too hard. I told you I was going to throw it hard, and you didn't believe me.
I know. I had a catcher's glove. I don't remember the last time I put a catcher's glove on, and it just did not stick.
Wow.
Should have used some of that sticky, tacky stuff in there.
We don't have that in the clubhouse anymore, rolling around, so you can't get it.
What did Zavala's glove? He should have, got some off his shin guard.
I was like, man, Sebi, have you even used this? He goes, no, actually, it's the first day I've actually brought it out. I was like, who gives somebody a brand new glove to go out and catch first pitch in?
You look good.
But, yeah, he got
good. That's all that mattered.
It did look good, but it did not stick.
And it's called a mitt, not a glove.
Whatever. I didn't catch with it. That's all I know.
Yeah. Knocked it down. Chase it. See what it eats.
Hey, sometimes you just got to tackle it back there. We get robo-umps. Guys are just going to be tackling shit.
You're used to seeing it with Grandal back there, too. He'll clank 3 a day.
Every once in a while, Yasmani has a little gremlin in there. He does. That's true.
Yep.
And happens to everybody. Don't tell Yaz, don't take it personal. There's a little guy that jumps in your glove, and you got to reach in there and you got to throw him out. It just happens. It's okay.
Hey, Lance, if you were Max Scherzer last week, would you be knocking down the league office door and having problems face-to-face with the people that he has to face?
Most definitely. Max has done it a long time at a high level. And, last week was, it's crazy to watch. I'm going off of what he said. And what he swore to that it's just rosin and sweat, and he's done it a long time, and he's always been a man of his word. So I have to take what he says to be true. So and I know Max is going to beat down every door he can to prove his innocence, and that's who he is. So Max has been very outspoken about Major League Baseball, and when he's part of the union, especially the committee and all that stuff too. So it's just. He's got a lot that he said and all that, and I know that he believes it. And if he believes what he believes, he's going to fight till the end. That's just who he is.
Lance, before we get into a lot of things, because I've got a lot. I went on Twitter and asked fans questions for you. So, as a White Sox fan, what the fuck is going on? Please tell me why. Please explain what the fuck. Just start somewhere. Give me Pope, please.
To be honest with you, we are in the midst of everybody learning a whole new way of going about things in this organization, coaching staff and everything. And guys are taking the right steps. Problem is it hadn't clicked. We've been in games against good teams and just didn't finish them, whether it's not scoring at the end, losing in extras, things like that. So the process, the way of going about things, preparing and all that is at a whole new level here. And that's where we're at right now. We got guys that are literally trying all new things and learning on the fly things all the way around. And then we've got guys who aren't playing up to their caliber also, me being number one. I haven't thrown the ball well. I've thrown the ball like shit, to be honest with you. I've had a couple of decent outings, but for the most part, I haven't been myself so far. That's got to change too. We start pitching a little better, start going deeper in the games, giving our bullpen a break because we're absolutely abusing our bullpen, putting them in too many situations in early in games and having to cover too many innings. So starters got to go deeper, give the bullpen a spot, and we got to pitch better, and we start doing that. then the offense and defense can, kind of find their groove because they're scoring runs. The problem is we've given them up, and then they're feeling like they got to press even more, especially with all the new concepts that are going around the clubhouse right now, and people are latching onto them and doing their job. We just got to find our groove.
Lance, it scares me a little bit as a White Sox fan, a former player. New concepts? What are the new concepts?
It's
Score
not
more
so
runs than
much
the
new
other
concept.
team?
You're looking at a whole new hitting staff came in this offseason.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, tell him I said he sucks personally. And Nachi, tell him he sucks too, and then we'll move on from there.
You got a new bench coach, new manager, new everything. There's just a way of going about our day-to-day business that has changed. And when you have that, especially at this level, when you got things that are happening on the fly, it takes a minute for it to set in. The things are setting in, the work's getting done, and everybody's buying in. Now we just got to figure out how to make it translate to wins on the field. And that's obviously the hardest part in the major leagues, right? You're either learning here or you're trying to figure out how to make sure you can figure out how to win here. We're in the process of, we know what we're doing, we know what we're trying to get accomplished. Now we got to figure out how to fucking win. That's where we're at right now.
I love that. Figuring out how to win. Now you have guys on this show who are 5 for 9 against you, 2 for 7 against you, and 0 for 3 against you. I'm not going to say who all of them were, so it's just, I'm not calling anybody out on the show, but it's only 2 RBIs in all those hits. I feel like you're a pitcher that finds a way to win in a generation of pitching that is just about finding a way to be on the mound and throwing the ball as hard as you can. How do you impart that on other dudes, or how would you even teach that?
You got to teach it's more about yourself, or more about the team than yourself. Like all these guys come up with like, oh, my spin rate, my vertical, my horizontal, and I'm like, bro, like where are you gonna throw strike one and how are you gonna get the dude out in the box? Like that's all great, but if you throw everything right down the middle, it's gonna get whacked. That's just the way it is. Guys are gonna be prepared for that. They're like, oh, cool, you have 20 vert, whatever. Well, they've seen that before. If you throw it right down the middle, it's gonna get hit. So it's teaching them to compete not only for yourself but for your team. You go out there and make sure you give everything you got as a pitcher. Go as many innings as you can as a starter so you can save the bullpen. Make sure that guys don't have to come in and clean up your inning. Like make sure you do what you have to do. And then when it's all said and done, try to outlast the other pitcher on the other side as a starter. When you do all those things, everything's going to take care of itself. Your numbers should be there at the end. So if you throw a lot of innings, you keep the bullpen out of it, and you keep your team in games, things are going to go your way. And I was taught that a long time ago. Never give up. While you're out there, just leave it all out on the mound.
I got one. Were you always, because I've faced you a few times, and
You're the one who got all the hits, weren't you?
I don't know, Kratz. Let me know the numbers, Kratz.
5 for 9.
5 for 9, 558 or something, but only one steak, Locaine.
Well,
you
you
put
know,
that
he
ball
likes
right in
a lot
the
of
Locaine triangle. He didn't hit nothing hard, Lance.
Bloopers, infield singles. That's what I did, okay? But, just facing you have always had that mindset of, I felt like, attack mode. Did someone teach you that? Is that something you just grew up doing, or like how did that come about?
Man, I have a brother that's 12 years older than me, and if I didn't get him first, I was in trouble. He's bigger and all that. So it's one of those things where I was raised by him and my dad, and it was one of those things where, hey, we're out here to win, and we're not out here to wait and see what the other guy's going to do. Let's get it done. And if you get beat, you get beat going after him with everything you got. And that's kind of how I was taught to do it. I had to play pickup basketball games with my older brother, and everybody was older than me. So if I sit there and just wore it, you never had a chance. So I figured I'd get my best shot off first and see where we were at. That was me as a little kid. And then I grew up and be bigger than everybody. So everybody got, and it got ugly for him once I turned 18.
Wait, you're 18?
I was at one point. I'm old now.
I was going to say.
Get off him. Hey, we have a number of fan questions that are kind of related to things we'd ask you anyway. So here's one in the YouTube live chat right now. Toasty said, and I know AJ will love the way this question is described. After adding that sweeping slider, how much has that helped your different fastballs?
Right now, it's not helping shit. Can't get anybody out. So
wait, hold on. You throw a sweeper?
Yeah, it's not sweeping.
You have changed so much.
I threw a sweeper last night and it cost me 3 runs. So that pitch can fuck right off right now. I will tell you, if I throw the ball the way I'm capable, it is going to help. Obviously giving them a little different look. But it's going to be something that can be in the arsenal when you need it, but it's not something that I'm going to live and die by. And last night I died by it, so it pissed me off quite a bit. I had a tough night sleeping.
Speaking of last night, after the game, because I ride or die with you guys every night, I'm starting to lose faith in you sons of bitches. After the game, they showed the dugout. Nobody left the dugout. Did you guys not want to go in the clubhouse? What the heck was happening? Everyone, they're out there shaking hands, slapping hands, and their whole team's in the dugout. Just is it bad food? Was there a water main break in the clubhouse? What happened?
No, I think you're looking at a group right now that is hungry to win. And when you're watching the other team celebrate, it's not one of those things where it's like, hey, sit out here and watch the other team celebrate and let it sink in. Guys are just sitting there. They're pissed off for losing, and they don't want to lose. And then when you watch the other team celebrate, it gives you a little extra fire coming in the next night. And that's where we're at right now. Guys want to win. They're tired of losing. We're not winning games. We're not playing terrible baseball, but we're not playing winning baseball yet. And that comes down with a lot of the pitching. We got to pitch better. We got the ability to pitch really good, and we're not right now. And that's frustrating. And if we start doing that, things will start rolling for us. But when you sit there and watch the other team celebrate night in and night out, it's going to piss you off, and it's going to drive you to do different things and try to be better. And that's where everybody's at right now. And they've all kind of done it on their own, which is that's a good thing. It means we want to win, and we're tired of losing.
Are you afraid for some of your bullpen guys with the new setup in Toronto, how close they are? Like those boys are going to.
They got a little underneath they can hide in. They've got a little cubby, so they don't have to sit up top the whole time. But I was warming up last night, and I was like, "This is fun." Like the Canadians are on me right now. I had to it was one of my favorite bullpens besides like warming up in a playoff game. Like New York's nuts when you're warming up in a playoff game, and LA where they'll say some stuff you're like, "Man, I've never heard that before," but that was pretty good. Last night they were getting after me in the bullpen, which was fun. That makes it fun, man. You want the fans to enjoy themselves. You want them to cheer for their team. You want them to root against you. That's what it's all about. But their ability to be right on top of you makes it definitely a little interesting warming up.
Lance, I'll mix in some other fan questions here. So this is from Larry, and I saw a few variations of this. He's like, local sports radio is making it seem like the pitch clock is making a negative impact on you earlier this season. Is it true? What adjustments are you working on with the clock? I mean, you pitch fast. What are they talking about? Local radio usually is not the brightest on baseball.
Well, here's the thing. If there's something new and you struggle, it's that they're going to blame that or say that's the issue. That's just the way it is. I've never even paid attention to the clock. When the clock came in this offseason, they're like, hey, here's your normal times. Like, you're not going to be a problem. So it's not something that I've worried about. It's not something that I've concentrated on in bullpens or anything like that. The problem right now is I'm not executing pitches in situations with runners on base, and I'm giving up multiple runs in big innings because I haven't thrown the ball where I wanted to. I haven't made the pitch I wanted to, and I'm putting myself in bad counts. That's on me. That's not on a clock or anything else. Clock has nothing to do where I throw the damn thing. It just makes everything go a little faster. But I love the clock myself, anyways, just because it gets the hitter in the box and let's go get after it. So I don't see it being an issue right now. The issue is I'm not throwing the ball where I want to, whether there's a clock on me or not.
A fan question from PGA Jesus. No question, just an observation. He needs to swear more. Swearing makes Lance better. And Ryan said, can you ask some of his best unedited curses he uses after ending the inning on a clutch strikeout?
Oh man, it kind of he's right. I need to get back to swearing a little bit more and getting after it. But no, I mean I don't even know. Some of the stuff just comes to me. You just start screaming. Whether it's half the time I'm screaming at myself, especially if I walk a guy that inning or something like that. The other day I think I walked somebody in 2 outs. Last night I walked a guy on 2 outs and gave up 4 runs after it. So it's like a lot of that stuff's after myself, trying to keep myself locked into the game and not get caught up in it. If the game's rolling, it's still not rolling. You still got to keep going because the next inning they're coming after you. So it's a way to keep myself locked in the game and doing stuff. But and some of that stuff just flies off the top of my head. And AJ knows me well enough to know that I've got some I has got some wittiness. It comes out pretty quick sometimes, and that's pretty much what it is.
Well, I think you should go full ball grab like you did against when you were pitching for Team USA. You went full FBomb ball grab, walking to the dugout, and then that was right when you were getting going. They took you out of the damn game, DeRosa.
And I haven't been right since. He didn't let me keep going, so I blame him for that because I was ready to rock that night.
I'm going to tell that to D-Row. Hey, Nick said on that, he goes, I want to know where, and I guess you answered it to an extent, effing slapdick motherfucker came from. Like some of the things.
Hey, to be honest with you, that's something I heard growing up. My older brother called somebody at one time, and it's always been in my head ever since. I think he was playing, I was in high school or something like that. He was playing in the slow pitch softball tournament, one of those big, I don't even know what they're called anymore, but you got a bunch of grown men playing slow pitch softball, traveling and stuff like that. Somebody did something. He was pitching. You know how there's like an unwritten rule, you don't hit the middle until somebody hits the middle, and he snapped somebody off that hit a ball back at him, and he just dropped it on the guy who hit it at him, pretty much said, your shit's weak, don't bring it here. And it stuck ever since.
I like it. By the way, this is what I've learned. Shit can the sweeper.
Yep.
You don't care about the pitch clock.
Curse more.
Huh?
Curse more.
Grab your balls.
Right.
Call people slapdicks. Why we get along.
Family show.
You have people are asking me this on Twitter. You have your own agency. I know do you own part of your agency? Or
no, to be honest with you, I was their first. So it's the guys who run it, I've known since I was 12 years old. So when they created their own agency, I was their first big leaguer. So it's kind of one of those things where they're like, oh, hey, you're part of an agency. I'm like, no, I was their first big leaguers, but I'm like helping promote the agency because I believe in these guys. These are my guys that I've known since I was 12 years old. I've known them for a long time. They've had this dream, this vision to do it, and they finally got all their ducks in a row. And I told them, I was like, hey, when you show me that, that you're ready to go and all that, come talk to me, show me that, what you got going, how's it going to go? And then if I believe in it, I'll come along. And I've done that. So, Headline Sports Group, they were like, hey, we're ready to go. They gave me all the rundown, they gave me the spiel and all that. And I've known these guys, they're like, they're a little older than me, so they're like big brothers to me. And I was like, man, I'm on board. I love to be a part of it, and I love to help them grow and do what they, have a passion in, and that's helping players, with everything that they need to be successful in this game.
Does that include your PXG clubs you're probably rocking, since you have to wear the little pullover, the PXG?
Yeah, this was the
the other side. There you go.
Yeah, I'm backwards here. This was the first zip up that they got me when we were playing Scottsdale National in Arizona, because when you go from Phoenix up to there's like a 20-degree difference somehow, and I was wearing a t-shirt or wearing just a basic polo that day. I was like, dude, I need a shirt, and they got me that, and we were ready to rock.
Okay, you take anything for free. I get it.
Well, you would too. I've seen your stuff.
Nobody makes clubs like we do. Bob Parsons. Who's the leader? Who's the leader on this team? TA's not there. He's hurt. Is it you?
He's with us.
It can't be a starting pitcher.
It can't be. You have a starting pitcher that helps push things along, but you don't play every day. Everybody knows if you don't play every day, you got no say so, because you don't know the ins and outs of how they feel. But you can be there to help. You can be there to guide, and be there to push people the right way. We're working on it. TA is there. He's with us. He's doing all this stuff to try to get back, but he's not on the field right now. So, you're looking at guys like to help Andrew Vaughn push along. You got Ben and Tindy, who's played in good organizations and have done it for a while, who's really, it's a first time in a new team. So how that is. You got to kind of choose your way on how you're going to do it, because if you come in and try to take over right away, it just doesn't go well. So Ben and Tindy's doing a great job of, really helping out the younger guys, especially the outfielders and the ways that way. So we got guys who need to take the next step. You got Yaz, who's been around for a long time. But Yaz, you know that. AJ, you remember when you're an old catcher, you got to do everything you can just to get ready every day. And you don't have time.
You saw my prep every day. My prep was show up, go in there with Prinzy for about 10 minutes, eat some food, and let's go.
Yeah. Well, Yaz takes care of himself a little better than that. So,
That's why he's
Yaz
always hurt. That's the problem.
Well, Yaz wants to be great, and he goes through whether it's everything that he's got to go through to get ready because of some of his injuries and all that. He does everything he can, but you just don't have really time to sit there and help everybody out as much as as he could if he had a little bit more time. But we're growing as a group. We got guys who are like, you look at TA, right? TA's in that version of, I've been a multi-time All-Star and all that, but when he came up, all these guys were taught how to be a big leaguer losing 100 games a year. And it's hard to learn how to be a quote-unquote leader when everyone's just trying to make sure that they're going to stick. So now it's, hey, you're here, you're a guy. Now we got to figure out how to lead the group and all the way around. And everybody's taking those steps, especially TA, especially this year. He's doing a great job of becoming that guy that he has been in the past, but really taking it to a whole new level. And it's not just on the field; it's starting to trickle over in the clubhouse and stuff like that. And play for Team USA, I think, was huge for him. Being around Mookie, Mike Trout, guys like that, to be able to see how they go about their business and all that. It was a big step for him going forward, and I can't wait to see what happens when he gets back on the field. Unfortunately, he had that little knee earlier this month.
What about the mate? What about Liam? I think he's going to bring something to the team when he comes back. What are you hearing from him? How close is he? Do you have any idea?
Well, unfortunately, with Liam, you hear more on social media than you do him personally because he hasn't been with us. He's been down doing all his treatment and all that and throwing in Arizona. So you know that he's coming back, and you know that that's exciting because when you get a guy like him back in the back end of your bullpen, then that just makes everybody relax and kind of funnel down from there. So we're jacked to getting back. We don't know exactly what that timeline is going to be. I think we get to see him next week in Chicago just to see us before. Hopefully that's before he goes on a rehab assignment or whatever it may be. I don't know how far along he is throwing wise, but from the get go, he told me he's going to be back mid-May. So I've never counted him out on anything. And if we get him back in mid-May, we start winning a few games here and there. And then we can figure out how to get on a roll with pushing everybody where we need to in the pen and start throwing the ball where they're capable of. We got a real shot to make it run.
Lance, this is a question from Nathan, and I'm going to jump on it as well. He said, what's the transition like going from New York to Chicago, having the beard back? And I'll double down here. Do the Yankees have a dumb policy with the facial hair being mandatory to be just a mustache and not have what you're working with?
Yeah, I went to Texas first after New York, and I grew the ugliest beard I possibly could, especially during the pandemic with a mask on it. That thing was curling everywhere. It was disgusting. But I'll tell you what, it is nice not having to make sure you shave or worrying about your facial hair every day you walk in to a clubhouse. But do I agree with it? I don't agree with it. That's their tradition, though. You got to respect it. I think it's past its time. But I don't. That's the Yankees fans are going to tell me that I just didn't like it there. I actually did. I like it there a lot. It was a fun place to play. They're great fans. There's a fun atmosphere to play in every day, but it sucks shaving every day, especially when you got a lot of hair. I will tell you that.
They'll just tell you suck. Yankees say, you suck,
Yeah.
Lynn.
They think everything sucks.
Yeah,
You suck. You suck.
I know.
Lynn, you suck.
I just gave up 5. I know I sucked. I appreciate it. But,
Exactly. Speaking of, you've played for how many teams now? 5 teams?
Yeah.
5. You're almost to me. Kratz, you got like 20 more to get to Kratz's number. People were asking me, though, why did you not like Minnesota? Did you not like Minnesota?
Minnesota was one of my favorite stops, and some of my people that I still talk to this day, clubhouse staff wise and all that, were amazing to me. Minnesota is one of those places where I had spent 7 years in St. Louis, and then you get traded, or I signed late in spring training. It was just one of those things where I never got on my feet in Minnesota, and it was just one thing after another, whether it was late to spring training, got off to a rough start in the season, and then I never found my footing. And the problem is I love the city. I love the people. The people in the organization were awesome to me. And, it's a great place to play. It's a great place to live. So I have nothing against Minnesota whatsoever. The only thing that I have a problem with is that I pitched like shit there. and that's how they remember me. Which they deserved it. They can do whatever they want. I didn't pitch well for them, and I'm not proud of it. That's for damn sure.
Let's finish with this. Ball or strike on Pierzynski's first pitch. Todd Frazier's on this show a lot. What do you got?
He yanked it.
A good catcher would have framed it better.
Four seam. The extension's not there anymore. It's like throwing down the second.
A good catcher would have framed the crap out of it. Look, they would have said like this. They would use one of these gloves and said, "Bam! Look at that, Mr. Umpire. That's a strike."
If he'd have been behind the plate, he had a 2-hop to second.
I love it. See, he did the old catcher trick. Oh, it's a glove. I got a broken
bad glove.
Bad glove.
My bad. Not mine. Not my glove. Not my problems.
Nope. Not your job either. Usually.
All right, Lance. Shit can the sweeper. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good, fellas.
Win some fucking games.
I got you.
He's on it. Thanks, Lance. Awesome. Great having you.